Bio 2, we're going to continue on with our second part of our groups of arthropods. So we took a look at the defining features of crustaceans. So now we're going to start by looking at our second group. So what are the defining features of spiders and their relatives? So spiders and their relatives include include animals that are known as horseshoe crabs, spiders, ticks, and scorpions, and those are all called chelicerates or chelicerates, there we go. Tongue twister there. So chelicerates. And chelicerates are going to lack antennae. So that's going to be a big difference. So spiders are not in fact insects, they are their own thing. And a lot of these, the ticks, the scorpions, and the spiders are also going to be known as arachnids. So chelicerates have mouth parts that are called chelicerae and two body sections, and nearly all have 4 pairs of walking legs. So 4 pairs of legs gives us a total of 8 legs. So chelicerates also have 2 pairs of appendages that are attached near the mouth that are adapted as mouth parts. So their fangs, if you will, are actually adapted from just being a normal appendage. And then the chelicerae, they contain the fangs and they're used to stab and paralyze prey. So the fangs that are actually found inside of our spiders are actually just what we can call an appendage. So fangs are actually appendages as well as antennae. And then a pedipalp is another kind of appendage that they have, and they are longer than the chelicerae, and they're usually modified to grab prey. So right by their face they actually have 2 sets. So they have the fangs that are there to paralyze and stab the prey, and they have little things that are a little bit longer called pedipalps that actually help grab and push the food towards their mouth, and that is addition to their 8 legs. So they have little 4 set around their mouth and then 8 legs on the outside of their body, which is why probably people think they're so creepy. And so the chelicerates are divided into 2 classes. So the first one is Merostomata, and this includes our horseshoe crabs. And so then our second part is the arachnids, and these include our spiders, our mites, our ticks, and our scorpions. So horseshoe crabs are an interesting animal. We're going to talk about those first. And they first appeared more than 500 million years ago, and they have changed very little since that time. So they're what we like to call, if you could say this, maybe a living fossil, because they haven't really changed at all over time. And they have chelicerae, which again are the little fang-like structures by their mouth. They have 5 pairs of walking legs, so for a total of 10. And they have a long spike-like tail that they actually use for movement. So they're actually a pretty interesting looking creature. We'll take a look at them in class. Another interesting thing about this group, just kind of a fun fact, is they actually have blue blood. So their blood is blue all the time. And so for spiders, now we're going to take a look at these. They capture and feed on animals ranging from other arthropods to small birds. So they can feed on a variety of different things. And some spiders will spin webs out of a strong, flexible protein called silk, in which they can use to catch flying prey. So we've all seen a spider web. Spider webs are made out of silk. And there's some others that will simply just stalk and then pounce on their prey. So they just kind of live freely and just go out and catch. And there's other spiders that will lie in wait, so they lay still, and they leap out to grab insects that venture too near. So that's 3 separate ways that spiders can feed. So 3 different unique ways found within this group of spiders. And spiders do not have very strong jaws for chewing, so because they don't have strong jaws, they have to liquefy their food to swallow it. So that's a pretty nice mental image to get there, getting liquefied and swallowed by a spider. And once a spider captures a prey, it uses its fang-like chelicerae to inject paralyzing venom into it. So almost, I guess that would mean all spiders do have some type of venom. That does not mean all spiders are venomous or harmful to humans. A lot of them, the venom has no effect on a human whatsoever. And however, all spiders will produce silk, and they spin their webs, and they spin the silk into webs. They use it for cocoons for eggs, and they use it for wrapping up their prey. So they wrap up their prey in the silk, and then they liquefy it, and then they kind of just suck the juices out of the wrapped up cocoon there. And they are able to spin this web by forcing silk through what is known as a spinneret, which is kind of in the similar place from a swimmeret. And these are just organs that contain silk glands and help them, again, spin their web, a spinneret. So mites and ticks are our next group that fall under our arachnids, and these are small arachnids that are often parasitic, and their chelicerae and their pedipalps are specialized for digging into a host tissue and sucking out blood or plant fluids. So mites usually affect more plants. That's what they're talking about, where ticks will affect mammals mainly and suck out the blood of mammals. And then the ticks can transmit bacteria that can cause serious diseases, so Lyme disease being the most common disease that is spread by ticks. And then scorpions is our next group, and these inhabit warm areas around the world, and they have pedipalps that have been enlarged into claws. So whereas the pedipalps of spiders are just kind of little leg-like things around their mouth, the pedipalps of a scorpion are actually now claws, and scorpions actually do have strong jaws to chew their prey. They are pretty ferocious predators. They actually chase down, stab it with their long tail, and eat and chew on their prey. And so that is it for the spiders and their relatives. So now we're going to look at the distinguishing features of insects and their relatives. So they include things like centipedes and millipedes and insects, and they're going to be what is known as uniramians, and this is just kind of maybe, won't ever probably ask you to memorize this word, maybe just be able to identify it if you see it. And they have jaws, one pair of antennae, and they have unbranched appendages, which we'll talk about what that means more within the next couple days. And so centipedes, they have from a few to more than 100 pairs of legs. So there's a centi means 100, so they can have 100 pairs of legs. So most body segments bear one pair of legs on each segment, so they could, if they have 100 pairs of legs, they could have 100 different segments for a total of 200 legs. And centipedes are going to be carnivores whose mouthparts contain venomous claws that they use to catch and stun or kill their prey. So centipedes actually do have venom in their mouth as well. Again, it's not going to be very deadly to humans, but if one did bite you, they could, in fact, cause some pain, but it's not going to be anything too serious. And millipedes have a highly segmented body, and each millipede segment bears 2 pairs of legs. And millipedes aren't as kind of strong, if you would, or as aggressive as centipedes, because they mainly defend themselves by rolling up into a ball, and they can also secrete an unpleasant or toxic chemical, so their best offense is a defense there, so they can't really go out and beat up on anyone, have poisonous claws in their mouth, so they just got to roll up and secrete an unpleasant or toxic chemical, and they eat mainly on dead and decaying plant material. So that is it for section 2 of chapter 28. Let me know if you have any questions.